Last week, several major outlets reported that Russia had attempted to hack election systems in 21 U.S. states. That story whipped people into a frenzy, and it turned out to be false. Journalist Glenn Greenwald, who is not a conservative, recently wrote that, quote, the Russia story of 2017, not unlike the Iraq discourse of 2002, is now driven by religious-like faith rather than rational faculties. John Daniel Davidson does not have much in common with Glenn Greenwald, but he may agree on this. He writes for The Federalist, and he joins us tonight. John, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So these words carry, and we've had Glenn on this show a number of times, but they carry particular weight because he's not pro-Trump in the slightest. He's a figure of the left, and I don't think he has any political agenda either way, but he's a logical person, a rational person, and he looks at the evidence and finds it wanting.
Yeah, I find it kind of awkward to be in a position where I'm agreeing with Glenn Greenwald on anything, but he's right about this. Ever since this Russia collusion story first came up, the media has bent over backwards, going after every anonymous leak, every salacious story they could get their hands on to try to prove that the real reason Trump won the election was because he was colluding with Vladimir Putin. Democrats and their courtesans in the media cannot accept the fact that Donald Trump won a free and fair election, and there's got to be some other explanation for it, and they've latched onto this Russia story, and every time they trot out a new theory or a new leak or a new explosive document or piece of intelligence, it crumbles right away, and we've seen this throughout the past year, time after time, and this is just the latest version.
But so, I mean, it's a significant statement to say maybe the whole thing is false. I think I'm approaching that conclusion because I don't see evidence otherwise. But if it really is a lie at its core, I mean, man, we've spent an awful lot of time on this as a country.
Well, I think we need to distinguish between the claim that the Trump campaign and Trump colluded with Russia to hack the election and falsify ballots. That's the outrageous claim that a lot of Democrats would like to be true, and a lot of the mainstream media would like to be true. But to say that Russia did have propaganda that was designed not to elect one candidate over another, but to sow discord, to discredit the democratic process, to turn Americans against one another, I think there is something to that claim. And a lot of us in the conservative media were writing about this last summer. And we didn't have access to any special intelligence reports or any secret dossiers. All you had to do was pay close attention to the trolls on Twitter and Facebook, and you could tell something odd was going on with tweets and with social media memes going viral, that they were coming from, you know, what were probably Russian troll farms.
Do you think
but that shouldn't surprise anybody.
I mean, do you think that, I mean, I'm just thinking, having spent, you know, my whole life in this city, I think of all the foreign governments, Turkey is a huge one, the Saudis, there are many others, that actively pump their propaganda into our system and try to affect our political process. Do you think we're now going to have a new standard where all of that is unacceptable? I hope so.
Well, maybe we should, and that's a conversation that we could have, right? But that's not the conversation the Democrats want to have.
No,
there is a whole swath of the left that can only believe that Donald Trump either got elected because half the country are racist, or Trump colluded with Russia. But it's impossible for them to imagine that maybe Hillary Clinton was a horrible candidate who ran a horrible campaign, and vast numbers of Americans wanted something different. That can't be true. So
no, it can't.
It's got to be Russia, right?
So I'm kind of excited for this new tomorrow we're getting, where no foreign governments are allowed to influence our process. I'm in favor of that. We're going to hold them to that new standard. John, thank you.
That's right. Thank you.